Cobra's brought in, but it's just been rushed in. The ZSUs will make quick work of that. I guess don't know what they were doing there. That was a pretty stupid Bandai style attack. And it looks like they're bringing some artillery. That's the other thing. They don't have any real artillery. I mean, let's see. They've got no artillery here or here. You know, they don't have any artillery anywhere, but they've got a huge amount of FOBs. I think they must have. I think they invested a bit too heavily in that. Not sure. Elsewhere here, I'm just pulling my T-64s back. I think one or two of them got knocked out. And the first of NATO's surrenders, Victor Volkroth. Elsewhere here, I'm launching my attack here. The Vapuzis moved close enough to spot the Soldiers, and, you know, the T-62s are firing on them, the Motostroggy, BMP-1s, Vapuzi. These guys are just surrounded by on pretty much every side, and they're being fired on. You know, that was a pretty quick loss for them. More Soldiers are being brought in, and they're using the hillside to their advantage to move quickly to the BTRs, but I'm retreating them quite fast. And because the thing is, the Soldiers are now on the top of the hillside, the T-62s can shoot at them, and they do. Another one of NATO retreats. I think they're seeing that the battle's more or less over, but others are still holding on. Foxtrot at this point is looking. They've actually pushed quite a lot into Foxtrot. I mean, they've got Soldiers from mass in these woods. Nothing really stopping them from moving straight up and knocking out the UAZ. Whoops. Also, I didn't notice this, but basically I was reinforcing stuff, and because of the way I was moving up, it was being brought in from Foxtrot, which meant some of my units, like here, this Eagle is just in the middle of nowhere. I had no idea where it was, but it looks like it's about to take out a Gazelle, so let's have a look at that. Yep, there you go. I had no idea what was going on there. Elsewhere's another assault here. AMXs, those seem to be making quick work of this. These guys are fairly well armoured. Soldiers from us will finish anything else off. At this point, I'm manoeuvring my BMPs once around. I know all they have here are VABs and sort of weasel support vehicles. That, you know, the BMP-1 with its AGKM and powerful cannon are going to knock that out. Also, look at that. Look, one of the BMPs has been vetted quite highly. Clearly got a few kills to its name. More recon helicopters being brought in. Now you see that now they're now asymphotic. I don't know. He's clearly investing heavily in artillery. The French AMX F1. Probably pronouncing that wrong. And now I'm using my advantage to buy some more tanks. As you can see, I've got the T-62 Ms. Not as good as the M1s. Their ATKM aren't as good, but you know, they're still a decent tank. And seeing as NATO is running out of cash, that'll probably prove fairly well here. So now I'm pushing forward. At this point, I'd quite like to secure Giuliette, possibly Chiari as well. As you can see, I've got Mike and November fairly secured. More T-55s being brought in by Corman. That seems to be his preferred unit of tank. And the T-62s are now just shredding what's left of the VABs. You know, there's just no fight here. It's just cleaning up the space. Elsewhere here, NATO unit I think died somewhere here. As you can see, a lot of my allies are using UAZs. Not recommendable as always. Always stick to armoured command vehicles. But never mind that. It's not like they're in much danger at this point anyway. So as you can see here, they've pulled some forces and are bringing some fairly advanced forces, as you can see here. Now this is actually quite a good manoeuvre here. Basically what they've got is they've got the recon helicopter to spot my tanks for the artillery. It's also equipped with Hellfires, which is nasty. And basically my tanks are very good in a stationary position, but they can't be. The artillery is forcing me to constantly move my forces around. So I can't do anything about these Marder VTSIs. These guys have got a pretty good cannon. So basically what their strategy was, use the artillery to keep my forces mobile, and then use the Marders to just finish them off. So I'm calling for some assistance. As you can see, my allies got a bunch of tanks here in Charlie. They could help. Soldiers, I'm probing around the area. Unfortunately, the soldiers should take out my BTRs here. I mean, they're getting quite close and they still have their bazookas. Not sure how that's going to happen. At this point, though, he wasn't fast enough in using his artillery. I've got my 2 sets of T62Ms and the M1s to stationary positions. A quick volley of 80 GMs, cripples the mortar force. They're not going anywhere. Kiowa recon helicopter, quite nasty. I've also got my own recon helicopter here, as you can see, so I can see what's coming. I'm not sure why they're bringing flak panzers. We're not really using any helicopters in this area, but there you go. Soldiers quickly wiped out by the T-62s, but they got the BTRs, so I guess that's some achievement for them. They're not the best infantry. On this side, Foxtrot has been completely secured. Their offensive has been completely repelled. My forces are still getting caught up in fighting because they keep driving straight through NATO positions to get to mine. I have to reinforce quite carefully here. What else? Battle around Lima. Forces are sort of being pushed back here. Let's see. So back up here. I'm just finishing off the last of the martyrs, VCSIs, although he's bringing more in. At this point, I was looking at what he had, and he seemed to have some very good forces. He had this, this artillery which could still keep my forces mobile, meaning they weren't that effective as they could be. He's got this recon helicopter with 4 Hellfire missiles, which is a lot. He's got Marder VTSIs. He's got these tank destroyers. He's got a lot of stuff here, and I thought, at this point, an attack on Bravo isn't actually the best idea, because when you look at it, my forces are coming straight down here from India. His stuff's coming from Bravo. He can reinforce directly into this battle, whereas I'm going to take at least 2 or 3 minutes to bring in any new forces. So even though we've got a huge economic advantage now, they've lost Charlie. I mean, they don't have any high point zones left. They've got what, like 1, 2. They're bringing in 6 points that we're bringing a lot more than that. I can say that. I don't have the time to count. But yeah, we have a huge economic advantage at this point. We're just storming ahead. But the thing is, I still was a bit cautious about attacking Bravo. I thought it's a bit risky, because if they put 80 km infantry in the woods here, they've got Starship 80 km tanks. It's not looking too good. I moved this Tunguska up to knock out the reconnaissance helicopter. My usual anti-aircraft unit vetted to 1 bar. It's usually accurate enough to finish off anything, and there you go. Just remember, NATO helicopters often are very poorly armoured and have low health. Unfortunately, they seem to have brought in some other artillery, like some paladins. Again, odd position. I don't know why they've got artillery out here in the middle of nowhere, where they have all these FOBs, which will allow them to constantly rain fire down. Elsewhere, some Radans and Jaggers are knocking out various helicopters. Else here, quite a lot of fighting in and around Lima in the forests. Quite intense, but with this, we've got an economic advantage. We're going to be winning quite a lot of the battles from now on, just because we can bring in more stuff. Elsewhere here, some cavalry tank prototypes fighting against armoured recon prototypes. But the thing is, even if this guy kills this recon, which it looks like it's going to happen, the T-55s now know where he is. He's outnumbered. He's got poor health. He's not going to win this. Elsewhere, I'm now cutting into the forces around Lima from this angle, using the Vapuzus to spot it and the T-72s to rain fire down upon it. At this point, I've decided an attack on Bravo is not a good idea, for the reasons I stated earlier, and I've brought in a BRM-1K. This is another one of the first times I've been using this unit. This is a pretty good command vehicle. Let's just get the info out on it. And you can see it's got a decent gun that can... It's not... it's got the range, but not much else. It's got exceptional optics, so you don't need to use recon units as alongside it, and it's got front 1, side 1 armor. It's a pretty good command vehicle. So yeah, at this point, basically what's going through my mind is attack on Bravo isn't a good idea because of their reinforcement advantage. So if we can secure Lima and capture it, that would give us a pretty good opportunity to take out Kilo and Bravo. So that's what I was thinking anyway. Elsewhere, Spetsnaz, don't know why they're being brought in to take out a tank. One's already fallen. You know, these guys don't have... Their rockets are not designed for tanks, especially prototype tanks. So the T-55s are brought in to finish it off. But still, Spetsnaz were not the unit for that point. As we're here, I'm sort of checking out what's going on, but they've got some rep recon forces here. Flak Panzer's quite lucky to get him out of there alive, if I'm honest. More supplies. Remember, supplies are limited for me just because of the huge distances involved in this map. So yeah, pretty much what's happening is Egilberth is sort of forcing these guys from the south, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what compass points are involved, and then I'm attacking from this side. We take Lima, and I think that will put us in a brilliant position to finish off the rest of NATO's forces. Elsewhere, there seems to be a small attack on Delta, but it hasn't worked out that well, and he's just building up units. We've got T-55s, Mi-24s, AGM infantry. See, these are my infantry, but basically I've noticed that they were just walking through enemy lines to get to where I was, so I just told them to stop. Not really the best position to put them there, but there you go. Seems to have been a bit of a stalling fighting across the map just because each side is preparing. I mean, NATO, at this point, you know, we have a 2,000 point advantage over NATO, so it's pretty clear that we're going to be winning this game. But we're just consolidating our positions for another attack on Lima, and they don't really want to be starting any fights, basically, because they're going to lose them. I'm not really sure why I brought in a T-80U. This is probably the best tank in the game, but it's hugely expensive, and in the AGM era, a bit of a dinosaur. I don't know, I just I think I just brought it in for sure shock value, just to say, you know, we have enough money to be bringing in T-80Us. You're finished, you know, just surrender now. We've got all this kind of advanced stuff to attack you with. Bit of small artillery exchanges. They've now amassed 4 Ox AMF-1s, and they're well supplied. They're not going to be running out of ammo anytime soon. So basically, they're forcing me to reposition. Artillery isn't that useful though when you think about it, because they don't have any recon units up here, and you know, without recon units, they're not going to really get any accurate parts, and I can just hide my stuff in the hedgerows to avoid being detected. A sort of flanking manoeuvre is being put onto Lima here. Some T-62 MVs. Not sure what model these are. I think these are the more advanced version of my units. Not sure what's better than them. Let's just have a look. Yep, they've got good ATKMs, a pretty good gun. Armor's not too bad. I think this is a more advanced unit of my M1 variant, but it's got more armor. I think that's the main difference. Some infantry fighting BMP 1Ds are now being pushed in. See, that's this guy seems to be using a lot of these Chausseurs. I think I'm not sure if he knew what kind of unit he was using, but these aren't good units. They're using bolt-action rifles in the Cold War against, you know, it's just these guys are very weak on infantry v infantry. I guess you could use them as sort of key bazookas, but I'd definitely recommend using the better Chausseurs from Mass for this. At this point, he really doesn't have much forces left here. He's still got a few Chausseurs from Mass dug in around the various forests here. Oh, look, the Chausseur's got a quick kill on the BMPs. You know, it's still infantry ambushing vehicles. But yeah, Lima is no longer an effective reinforcement unit point for NATO, T-62s and the BMP-1s. Although I'm not sure if the BMP-1Ds are actually that good. I mean, they're the grenade launcher variant, they don't have an ATGM, so good against infantry, I guess, but against tanks like the Leopard 1A5, this is a pretty advanced tank, but I guess 6 against 1